Our third event focuses on themes of COVID, climate, and disability, and through our documentary short featuring 3 BIPOC, disabled, and immunocompromised artists, we hope to raise awareness about the ongoing effects of COVID-19. COVID isn't over, and the rise of long COVID, disability rights issues, displacement, and environmental damage. We want to educate people on how these issues have isolated many disabled artists and how art can be used as a tool to empower and uplift others, fight against these injustices, and imagine an equitable and empathetic world. Through this theme, we feel it's imperative to highlight Indigenous experiences about COVID and climate, with our event underscoring the impact on Native American communities and the plight of Indigenous Palestinians as they suffer from loss of shelter, food, clean water, famine, rampant disease, and loss of their ecosystem. We hope you can join us in understanding and hearing these stories and feel encouraged to take action for humanity to reach peace and prosperity through the arts. In our opening, with the help of our new blue froggy mascot, Lilith, we're showcasing the ecosystems our team and artists reside in. Please enjoy. Where there is suffering, there's hope and community. Our stories can bring comfort to those who feel alone. How can your story positively impact others?
My name is Anahita. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm a South Asian woman with tan skin, brown eyes, and black hair. I have several visible tattoos and facial piercings. In this photo, I'm smiling and looking slightly above the camera while wearing a dark pink dress and jewelry. I've been working as an artist across various mediums for the past 5 years and as a tattoo artist for the past 9 months. All art can be sacred personal practice, and tattooing is no exception. I love tattoos as adornment and as a physical display of significance. My body is special and important to me, so I've decided to decorate it. My art piece is a tattoo of a moonflower I've done on myself. Moonflowers only bloom at night, so they can symbolize resilience and growth in dark times. Trigger warning, my video will depict the process of a tattoo. There may be blood and plasma briefly visible. There will be tattoo needles on screen. My voiceover includes mentions of medical issues and mortality. In 2021, I was diagnosed with a rare and sometimes fatal autoimmune disease whose potentially fatal complications almost always involve the lungs. I was in pain, scared, in full isolation, still in the beginning of an ongoing severe respiratory pandemic. When I was first diagnosed, I asked my rheumatologist if this could kill me. She paused for a moment before answering, "I don't know yet, we'll keep an eye on it." For the first 26 years of my life, I'd wanted to be a parent more than anything, but my suddenly shorter life expectancy was terrifying. I'd already talked myself out of my concerns around raising children in a dying world, but once my disease was layered over COVID, which was layered over the climate crisis, this was harder to ignore. Almost 4 years later, my partner and I have landed pretty firmly on being child-free. The world has gotten even worse than it was a few years ago. We've come to the conclusion that, for us, it is simply not ethical to bring a child into this world, this dying world, with a mother who might be dying, and yes, I know we're all dying, thank you. With the pandemic running almost entirely unchecked, with the climate changing at unprecedented rates and in unpredictable ways, with a rapidly shrinking estimate for how long it'll be before we're at the point of no return. I turned to Sista Shakur's words for comfort, her words about not letting the oppressors kill the babies in her mind before they were even born. For a while, I used it to justify having children, despite there being so many strikes against it, and despite my complete inability to bring them into a world worth living in. But eventually, my mindset changed. I am about life. I'm gonna live as hard as I can and as full as I can until I die, and I'm not letting these parasites, these oppressors, these greedy racist swine make me kill my children in my mind before they are even born. I've thought about it more and more recently, not as a reason for me to give birth, but as a reason against it. I've started to think of the babies in my mind as creative works I hope to bring into the world. Pro-lifers often ask questions like, what if the cure for cancer was in the mind of a baby that had been aborted? Predetermination aside, I want to ask instead, how many people could have given us extraordinary, life-changing works if not for the cultural obligation to have children? The rest of Sista Shakur's words still ring true for me. After being put on my own miracle drug and going into remission and realizing what it meant to be pain-free for the first time, I am all about life. Life and passion and creation and connection, and experiencing as much as I possibly can, knowing I'll have less time to experience it than most. I want to squeeze as much meaning as I possibly can out of whatever time I have left, whether it's 5 years or 30. I want to experience the heights and depths of my capacity for feeling. I want to cry and laugh and love and scrape myself up from the pits of heartbreak and ride the wing of elation and drift comfortably in between for as long as I can. I lived a muted and painful and timid life for so long that I have no choice but to be hungry for everything else. I want to feel it all and run it through a sieve and distill it down to pure meaning and dispense it through my art. I want to show others what it is to feel as deeply as I do. I wish the world understood the huge risks I'm taking with my life when I try. I want to help build a softer, safer world. I want a world in which my peers can trust that their children will grow up safe. I want a world that doesn't force me to risk my life each time I need medical care, that doesn't see me as disposable. I want to live long enough to bring my art into being.
Hello, I'm Anahita the librarian here in the library, and I am virtually presenting ordinary superstar Mondo Millions. light-skinned black trans masked person in a black sweatshirt that says Black Trans Lives Matter with a red rose and green thorns print, green glasses, a gold chain necklace, and gold moon earring with dangly quartz crystals. So how about you? Tell us about yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Mondo Millions, he, him pronouns, and I am a deaf black trans drag king based in Sacramento, California, also known as the farm to fork capital. I am a light-skinned black trans mask person. I have a beard, I have really eyebrow, unruly, and I have a curly fro as well. My outfit is basically a green shirt with a black shirt that says I'm rooting for everybody black and trans because I'm always representing my community and proud to do so, and black shorts. But I am wearing socks. For myself, I find that being in Sacramento has allowed me to kind of have an understanding of how privileged we are in California to have the sort of consistent weather that we have. But unfortunately, I've noticed that there has been an increase in more climate change related incidents. You know, like our summer heat has been ramping up year after year in ways that are unprecedented.
Thank you for that very thorough intro. And also, I love that our fashion vibes together. We didn't even plan it. So I guess we're just in sync, I guess. So, let's get to it. As a disabled and queer black person, especially as a queer black drag king who also navigates like being trans during COVID, like how has COVID and climate change and all of those kind of repercussions that come with that affected your artistic practices, and tell me a little bit about what you wish people knew.
So due to being someone who grew up with the California wildfires, I had gotten used to wearing masks. And then, COVID hit, and it wasn't this bizarre concept to wear a mask. And I think that helped a lot, actually. It helped in terms of understanding how important the well-being of my lungs were. Understanding that, wildfire, smoke in the air can have so many long-term negative impacts. And I'm masking, and the government rolls everything back, and everybody was just starting to not mask anymore. That COVID was still very much a thing. I realized that every ongoing performance I did, where I was trying to see if I could risk my life for those 1 hour events, I couldn't do it. I had to stop and start pulling back on my performances, and I tried to advocate for mask-required audiences throughout the pandemic because a lot of people were just still doing drag shows and stuff.
I've had so many of these same thoughts myself, interestingly enough. Are 3 key things that you kind of hope to see for current and future generations, and why?
So the Black Valley Review, which is a black, queer, disabled virtual variety show, I realized that this show was something that I hadn't seen before. That part of why I created my show was because I couldn't find any representation in that regard. Wanted the disabled queer community to have safety here in Sacramento. I wanted us to be able to live long enough to get old, and trying to bring up how much drag has been negatively impacted due to having roots in white supremacy and historical norms around both transphobia and racism. I thought that this was something that could change.
Know that the data backs up a lot of what you've been saying today, and there's organizations like Sista Creatives Rising that are doing their best to sort of educate people and figuring out creative ways to do so. Resources like our local mass blocks as well. And that brings us to the end of our interview. Giving us full credits.
My name is Sarena Brown. I use they, them pronouns. I am a South Asian Italian-American artist. I've got brown skin and brown eyes, cropped black hair. I've got teal makeup on the inner corners of my eyes and gold facial jewelry and a magenta hoodie. As a disabled and queer person of color, my artistic practice has been shaped in big ways and small ways by COVID and climate change. This means I'm thinking about access in terms of so many things, like physically, can I get through the space and can my friends with mobility aids get through the space? Is there anything happening about clean air? And environmentally, what's going on? Is it too hot or too cold? Is it air controlled? Is there an air purifier? Things like that. I think about all of these things, and if a space seems inaccessible to me in 2 or 3 ways, that is very likely meaning I'm not going. And it means I miss out on a lot of experiences that people who do not take COVID precautions are afforded. Things like going to big conferences and residencies and traveling and networking. But in this loss, it means I get to create more accessible spaces for people in my same position. And that is where Frequent Crier Club comes in. That's a space which started as a joke, mocking my crybaby tendencies, but has grown into a shape-shifting, disabled, art-based community space. I hold online events and some in-person mask-required events where we gather, we take care of ourselves, and we make art. The art making is secondary to the taking care, and that feels essential. And through my work with Frequent Crier Club, I've been able to fundraise for causes important to me, just like Palestine. Palestine is both a COVID and a climate change issue. For example, COVID safety measures are not very possible or practical during an ongoing genocide. COVID vaccines are not permitted into Palestine, and the bombings and near constant death and destruction mean there's no stable infrastructure for people to stay safe. It means climate disasters are escalating at an alarming rate. It means people are becoming disabled day after day, and they don't have access to care or rest in any meaningful way. So with all of this in mind, I've teamed up with a few Palestinians to fundraise on their behalfs, using my art platform as the ticket. I created this sticker, which is the Palestinian flag, made out of ripped paper, and overlaid on top is a neurographic drawing, also made out of cut paper. So it was very delicate, and I wanted to make it a sticker so that it is highly shareable and easily dispersible all over the world. This is my artwork that I'm also really excited to share. It is called Chosen Family. It is a number of layered neurographic drawings made with acrylic and different consistencies of acrylic to understand that where we started is not where we're going, and we can change patterns even if they're rooted in history. We can move in whatever directions we need to in community. So that's what this piece is getting at. I hope you enjoy it. My 3 hopes for the next generation are that there is an end to genocide globally, that there are more accessible opportunities for disabled artists, and that everyone can afford themselves meaningful rest as much as they need. Thank you.